Okay, so once again, thank you, Vido, for bringing us the lunch, transporting it to us from Blueberry, and for setting up the video. So when the Torah discusses, the title is Shavuot, the hidden holiday. And what's so interesting is, you would imagine, Pesach, the Torah is very clear. What's Pesach all about? Yetziat Mitzrayim, the exodus from Egypt. So you would expect that Shavuot, the Torah would be all over, that it's Matan Torah. Right? In Parshat Yitro, the Torah goes into full expression, full revelation of that Mamad Har Sinai, of standing by Mount Sinai. And in the Et Chanan, we reiterate what happened over there on Har Sinai. So the Torah is not shy when it comes to Har Sinai. So you would have thought that it would be a broadcasting that Shavuot is the yearly holiday, regel, pilgrimage holiday celebration of Zman Matan Torah. Yet, I'm reading now from Parshat Emor, what we read last week. You shall count for yourselves the 49 days, 7 weeks, right? 50 days. And then, from your dwelling places, until tomorrow, the 7th week, you shall count 50 days. And you shall bring a mincha chadasha laHashem, a new meal offering to Hashem. Mimoshvotechem, from your dwelling places, you shall bring this lechem tenufa, this bread that shall be weighed, shtayim, 2 loaves, shnei asonim, how they're made, chametz, they're made from chametz, from leavened, bikurim laHashem, a first offering to Hashem, and then you should bring kvasim, 7 lambs brought as a sacrifice, upar ben bakar, a young bull, Ushtei lim, and 2 rams, right? Ishei reach nichoach laHashem, and then it tells you how to prepare them, and they're waved, and the lechem, and the bread that's brought. Ukratem, you shall call out be'etzem yom hazeh mikra kodesh yeh lachem, a holy calling it shall be for you. Kol melechet avodah lo ta'asu, you don't do any melechet avodah. Chukat olam. For all generations. That is how the Torah describes Shavuot. And what is conspicuously and glaringly absent is Matan Torah. That this is the anniversary of the most cataclysmic event in human spiritual history, when the heavens opened up and there was a revelation not to 1 person, not to 3 people, not to 12 people, but to 600,000 plus males between 20 and 60, and about 2 million people. The only religion to make a claim of a mass revelation. As we discussed before, one cannot make and one would not make such an announcement. No one could claim such a thing unless it is true, because otherwise it would be so easily and quickly shot down. And yet there is not a mention of this in the Torah itself. So let us go through some of these different sources and see how this is dealt with. Ramban, on these psukim I just read to you, he said, "V'tziva b'chag hamatzot shiva yamim b'kedusha lifneihem ula'achareihem." The Chag hamatzot, we have 7 days with kedusha, with a holy day, the Yom Tov, lifneihem, before and the end, right? Day 1 and day 7. Right? In Israel, Pesach is 7 days. Day 1 and day 7 are Yom Tovim, holy days, holidays where we are restricted in the malacha that we do. Umana mimenu tishim v'arbim yom. And then we count 49 days. V'kadesh yom shmini. And we sanctify that 8th day, kishmini shel chag. Just like by Sukkot, we have 7 days of Sukkot, followed by a holiday, Shmini Atzeret. Here we have a week of Pesach as one unit, 7 weeks, and then the next day, like Shmini Atzeret, is consecrated. And those days that are counted in between, Kecholo shel moed bein harishon v'shmini bechag. They are similar to the Chol HaMoed days between the first day of Sukkot and the next holiday, which is Shmini Atzeret. V'hu Yom Matan Torah. And this is the day of Matan Torah, the giving of the Torah, Sheher Ambo Edisho Agdola, that he showed us this incredible fire, Udvarav Sham'u Mitoch Ha'esh, and his words were heard from the midst of that fire. And that's why throughout the rabbinic literature, throughout the Talmud, Shavuot is referred to as Atzeret. Ki hu kayom shmini shel chag. Because it's like the 8th day of Sukkot, shekora'o hakatuv came. And the Torah calls the 8th day, and it's not the 8th day of Sukkot, because Sukkot has ended, but the 8th day from when Sukkot began, the Torah calls it Chag HaAtzeret, Atzeret, right? It's Shmini Atzeret. So therefore, Chazal, the sages, also refer to this as Atzeret, because this is, as that is the culmination of the Sukkot holiday, this is the culmination of the Pesach holiday. There is the physical Yitziah, the physical Exodus, and there is the spiritual Exodus. And therefore this is the culmination. Yes, Chaya Rivka.
Shmini means 8. What does Atzeret mean?
Atzeret means a gathering in.
Gathering, oh.
Yes. Yes, Steve.
That he should describe it as being like Chol HaMoed. But Chol HaMoed of the Yom Tovim have certain more obvious manifestations of
Correct.
Of a
Correct.
Moed.
Correct. On Pesach, you're still not eating chametz, right? On Sukkot, you're still eating in the sukkah, right? And these are right. These do not carry over any aspects. That is correct. These do not carry over any aspects, any tangible aspects of Pesach, of Yetziat Mitzrayim, but the focus is on the counting towards and the build up towards the Atzeret, towards Matan Torah. Yes, I know.
And in Israel, Pesach is 7 days. In the United States, it's 8 days. Now, if an American is celebrating Pesach in Israel, should the American celebrate it for 8 days?
So that is an issue that is debated. Believe it or not, Jews debate that issue. What's truly astounding is there's more than one opinion.
How unusual.
Right? And there are those that say a person in Israel should keep as the Israelis do. There are those that say that if you are an American who lives in America, even though you happen to be in Israel, and this is the ruling of Rav Moshe Feinstein, then one should observe those, right, as is done in your place, and therefore one would keep, right, 8 days of Pesach. And there are those, now, by doing that, you're not putting on tefillin on that 8th day of Pesach, which, assuming it's not Shabbos, is a day where all the Israelis are putting on tefillin. So there are those that have an in-between approach and say, don't do any malacha, don't do anything that would desecrate the Yom Tov. At the same time, you would daven in a chol, in a regular weekday fashion, and men would put on tefillin, etc. So there are 3 different approaches to that.
Is the reverse also true? If an Israeli is in the United States,
yes.
Does the Israeli celebrate an 8 days?
Yes. Well, if an Israeli is here, right, then an Israeli would not keep, right, would not keep the extra day. He would wear tefillin, he would do all those things, but he should be doing it bitsina, in a private fashion, right? Otherwise, it looks as if he is desecrating.
Right.
You know, and if you have people with yarmulkes driving around, and this guy with the yarmulke is telling his boss, "I can't come to work today. It's a Jewish holiday," right? So it's going
more
to,
Zion.
yeah.
Is somebody here for 20 years?
No, the way that we define it, halachically, as far as I understand, is not a matter of ezrachut. What is your citizenship? It's a matter of where do you live, right? If you live in Israel and you're visiting here, you're an Israeli. You live in America, you're visiting there, you're an American, right? If I moved there and I arrived one day before Pesach, but now I live in Israel, I've moved there, then I'm an Israeli. If I live there and I'm planning on moving back, right? So there, actually, that was my situation for Pesach, where he came back around Lag BaOmer time, actually, and we kept one day because if you're there and you're living there, even though your plans might be otherwise, you always hope your plans might change and things might change and you'll remain there.
I have a question. What happens if you do 6 months in Israel and 6 months in America when you retire? No, seriously.
Yeah.
Then how do you keep the chagim?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Interesting.
I
I guess it would really depend. What does one consider to be their where are they living and where are they visiting?
Where are they going to?
Israel.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
I've been to Pesach several times and had second seders with people from Belgium, France, England, South Africa.
In Israel, he's on
In
it.
Israel, because they said it's the second night and they have a second seder. It was and more countries.
That's one opinion.
Yeah, that's one opinion.
That's one opinion. Right.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. Okay. The Sefer HaChinuch, source number 2 on that first page, explains Lefisha kol ikaran shel Yisroel eino ela haTorah. The very essence of Israel is the Torah. Without that, we would not survive. That is who we are. That is what we are. Ubnei haTorah nivru shamayim ve'eretz v'Yisrael. And the sages say it was because of the Torah that heavens and earth and the Jewish people were all created. Meaning, the way that's often explained is that the reason that we try to understand for God having created the world, we try to understand, or the degree to which we can understand, or the degree which it was shared with us, is that God wanted there to be free-willed beings who would choose to use their free will to connect to Him and follow His will, to connect to Him, to touch that aspect of eternity. Well, we can't follow His will and connect to Him unless we know what His will is. Therefore, inherent in the creation of the world is God sharing His will with us, which is the Torah, and there being those who are willing to accept that will, which is the role that Yisroel played. The ikar hasiva, that is the foundation, that is the reason, shenig alu, that we were redeemed. V'yatzu mimitzrayim, when we left Egypt. Kidei sheyikavu haTorah b'Sinai v'yikamu, in order that we would accept the Torah on Sinai and fulfill it. As Hashem said to Moshe, V'zeh lecha ha'od, this will be to you as the sign, Ki anochi shilachticha, that I have sent you, B'otziachat ha'mitzrayim, when I take the nation out of Egypt, Ta'avdunat Elokim al harazeh, that is in order that they will serve God on this mountain. Umifnei Cain, since that is so, Ki he called ikaran shel Yisroel, that is the very essence of Israel. Uva'avuran nigalu, and for that reason we were redeemed. And we climbed to the position, to the greatness that we have climbed to. Nitztavinu limnot, we were commanded to count. Mimacharot Yom Tov shel Pesach, from the day after the Yom Tov of Pesach, so as to not mix one simcha, one exuberance, the Exodus, with another. So you start counting from the day after, ad yom nitinat haTorah, until the day of the giving of the Torah. La'arot b'nafshenu, to show ha'chefetz hagadol, the tremendous desire we have, el hayom hanichbad l'venu, to this glorious day that is so dear to our hearts. Ke'eved yisha'ef tzel, like a servant who yearns for, how do you define this?
He says, for a slave yard.
Yisha'ef tzel, the thirst, he says, for freedom, shade, I'm sure, let's see, we'll go with his definition, freedom, v'imanet tamid, and is constantly counting, matay yavo ha'et, hanichsav elav, sheyitzei lecheirut, when will the time come that he is longing for, that he'll go out to freedom, ki aminim al adam, ki kol yish'o v'chol cheptzo, the counting shows that that his whole essence, his whole redemption, his whole will is lagia, to reach El Hazman Hazeh, to reach that time. So far, we're just building up to the question that I began with, which is what the Kli Yakar, our third source, deals with this. As the Torah says, V'hikravtem mincha chadasha laHashem. That's how it describes Shavuot in the Torah. You will bring a mincha chadasha laHashem. You will bring a new offering to Hashem. On the simple level, as Rashi explains, this is the first meal offering that's being brought from the chadash, from the new produce. Right? Even though we had the omer was from the new produce, but that was barley. This is the first, which is not normally the human food. This is the first wheat meal offering that is brought from the Chadash. The Kli Yakar goes deeper. V'ikravten mincha chadasha laHashem. The pasuk says you will bring a new offering to Hashem. That's the 2 loaves offering. Siman liyom Matan Torah. This is how the Torah is describing Yom Matan Torah, the day of the giving of the Torah. Ki haTorah tzricha liyot chadasha. The Torah needs to be new. Eitzel ha'adam, to a person. B'chol yom, every day. Ki ilu hayom kibla mehar Sinai. As if today he has received it on Mount Sinai. And this is something that amongst the great people you see this approach. Right? When I was in Yisroel, so Rav Yaakov Weinberg, Zatzal, blessed memory. So when he would prepare a shir klali, the shir klali was a lecture he would give, right, to the entire student body. We each had our shir, our class, and our Rabbi who would give his class, but once a week, once every 2 weeks, whatever it was, the Rosh Yeshiva, the head of the yeshiva, would give a shir klali. And he would approach the sugya, he would approach that topic that he was going to discuss as if he never saw it before. And would often find new insights and take different directions than he had in the past. Right? Each day, it's as if it's given anew. Right? And I just recently read, I think Rav Lichtenstein, Zatzal, was writing about when he was learning together with his father-in-law, Rav Soloveitchik Zatzal. Also, they came to a certain difficulty, and Rav Lichtenstein started to tell the Rav how Rav Soloveitchik had explained that in the past, and he cut him short, and he said, "Let's work it through. Let's see where today will lead us." That's what we uncovered last time. But there's so much more here. So the Torah is meant to be a mincha chadasha. Umashalo nizkar b'Torah b'feirish, and that the Torah does not say explicitly Ki yom zeh Matan Torah. Why doesn't it say, this is the day of Matan Torah? This is the day that we stood there. This is the day of the great revelation. This is the day that we became so uplifted. This is the day. Shouldn't we focus a tremendous amount on that day? No. Shal Matan Torah, lo ratza Hashem lahagvil yom yadua. God did not want to limit gavul is a boundary. He did not want to limit it to yom yadua, to a single specific day. A person is meant to feel on every single day of the year, Sinai. On this day, this is the day where I am receiving the Torah, and to wake up and to accept and to receive and to study and to live that Torah. The Al Kain, and that's why Amru Chazal, our sages, said, "Shiyudivrei Torah chadashim alecha." The words of Torah need to be new to you. V'lo kedavar hayashan, not like something like, oh, this again. Shalibo shel adam katzba, right? Something you've heard a bunch of times, right? So then you become wearied. Right, English says you no longer tolerate. The truth is that every time a person studies, if they approach it properly, they find a davar chidush. They find something new. Va'al kain, and therefore ein yom netinata muvur b'Torah. Right, the day of its giving is not explicit in the Torah. Yoter, any further, any more mimah than that, shenirmaz, that it's hinted, b'hava'at mincha chadasha, that you will bring a new mincha. Lahorot, to show, sha'torah mincha chadasha, this Torah of ours is a mincha chadasha, is a new offering. It's a new, mincha also means a gift. It's a new gift that is given to us b'chol yom v'yom, on each and every day.
I don't understand how they did this in Midbar, how they would bring all these offerings and how they grow all this stuff over there. I understand in the land, but in the desert, I don't think they did.
I'm not sure, Dov. You're asking an interesting point, right? Well, one thing that we do see is that over the 40 years, right, we settled into places for a while, right? I'm not sure. It's an interesting point you're bringing up, Dov. It's an interesting point.
What was his question? I didn't quite hear it.
In the desert, as we're traveling, how were these things brought? Now, a lot of things, yeah.
But somehow maybe they figured it out and then they brought it.
Yeah. Certain things took place only once we entered Israel.
Yeah.
Right? But yeah.
So this is more minutia, but how are we knowing that the 50th day offering is wheat? Why couldn't it be rye or oats couldn't you have 2 loaves of oat bread as long as it was leavened?
Yeah, so anytime we're talking about an offering, it's wheat unless it is otherwise specified.
And where does it say the first omer that is weighed is barley? It doesn't. It just says the day you bring the omer offering that is weighed.
Yeah.
So how do we know that's barley? It doesn't specify it. So then why wouldn't it be wheat? Except that it isn't ready for harvest.
Yeah. I have to look back over there. I have to go back to those psukim over there.
Anyway, back to our...
Yeah. To go back to those psukim over there,
Yep.
Janet, and see exactly.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
we don't have to belabor it right now, but... And then, until you said mincha means gift, it seemed that the Torah is so much more vast than just 2 loaves, even though it's symbolic. So how could you...
Yeah.
Much more.
Correct. Well, that's why. That's what he's saying. That's why it's hidden. It doesn't want.
Okay.
It doesn't want to designate the day. It can allude to it, It's a Kli Yakar saying.
But it doesn't seem like
it doesn't
a good
want to
correspondence
spell
for
it
that
out.
illusion. It doesn't seem like a
Chadash is the illusion. Yeah, Chadash is the illusion.
new.
Okay. The Pele Yoetz writes, Atzeret hu chag kadosh ma'od. Right? Atzeret is a very, very kadosh, very, very holy holiday, festival. Asher bo kiddishanu Hashem yiparach. That's where God sanctified us, b'torato, with His Torah, u'mitzvotav, and His commandments, u'vachar banu mikol ha'amim, and selected us, chose us amongst the nations, liot lam lolam segula, to be this nation to which this is being given to. V'ilav hai yoma dekagorim, and it not, right, for this day, kastom hayinu, lamora diminu. Then we would have been like, that's a play on words, as a pasuk. All right, we would be like Sodom and Gomorrah, Sodom and Gomorrah. The chukot shemayim v'aretz lo nekaimo, and the heavens and earth and its laws, its natural laws, its laws of physics would not have been put in place. And that's why it is a day for great rejoicing. And it's impossible not to rejoice. Ki tov lanu tovat haTorah va'mitzvot mikol tovat ha'olam hazeh mikol chayei olam haba. Right? Greater is the Torah and mitzvot than all the good that this world and the next world has to offer. And this is illustrated beautifully in the story that we have here. The great sage Rabbi Aaron Kotler. Rabbi Aaron Kotler was the Rav of Slutsk in Europe, and he's founded the Lakewood Yeshiva Beit Medrash Gavoa in Lakewood, and he battled valiantly to take that level of Torah scholarship that was there in Europe and make sure that its seeds were planted and would blossom here in the United States. And where there were different paths. Yeshiva University, Rav Soloveitchik, which was a yeshiva and a university, or Ner Yisroel in Baltimore, where Rav Ruderman Zatzal. So it was a yeshiva, it wasn't a college, but a part of the program was that the vast majority of the boys would attend college courses at night, and it was worked out with the colleges that they gave credits for much of the learning that was done during the day. Right? A boy, when I was in Yisroel, so we started learning at 8:30, and chavrusas would go till 1 o'clock in the morning. The official yeshiva schedule ended learning at 10 o'clock at night, right, and then Ma'ariv. But boys would continue with chavrusas till 1 o'clock in the morning. When we had college, so we would leave at 7 and be in college from 7 to 10, 2 nights a week, and then come back and continue with our chavrusas. So the amount of study that goes in the yeshiva is incredible, and it certainly far surpasses the amount that goes into a normal college schedule and degree. So they worked out that we would receive credits for a good amount of the learning that we did, and just focus the courses on basically that which we needed for our major, whatever it would be. Right? That was that approach. Whereas Rav Aaron Kotler Zatzal and Lakewood, it was Torah, 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 Torah. People would, right? There was no college, there was no allowance for college. Right? Many would become balabatim afterwards and go into different businesses and become very successful. But it wasn't combining any college along with it. So he once delivered a lecture in which he remarked that a person who provides the funds for Torah study will enjoy the same reward in the next world as the Torah scholars themselves. And that is the idea of a Yisachar Zevulun partnership, as it's referred to. Yisachar Zevulun, 2 of the tribes. Yisachar were those who were Yodei Itim, they were the scholars. Zevulun were the merchants who go out on ships. I think more merchants than fishermen, right? And they would support Yisachar. And actually in the pasuk, Yismach Zvulun b'tzeitacha, Zvulun is placed first. And we learn out that they have equal reward. After his lecture, he was approached by a wealthy man who challenged him, Rabbi, why should I bother to exert myself to study the Torah? All I have to do is to make donations to Torah institutions and I will be assured immeasurable reward in the world to come. Equal reward to all those who are sitting here and toiling away in Torah. Ray Cutler regarded the wealthy man with an expression of utter seriousness and responded, "It's true. Your portion in the world to come will be the same, but your life in this world will not be comparable." Right? Where you have a life that involves Torah learning and is immersed with Torah learning, that cannot be compared. That's what you'll be missing out on. In the Siftei Chaim, Rav Chaim Fernlander, right, explains very beautifully. Haita zo emuna mitoch re'iyah nuvu'it v'chushit. This belief was based on a re'iyah, a vision, nuvu'it, that was prophetic, prophecy, v'chushit, and it was tangible. As it says, v'chol ha'am ro'im et ha'kolot. The whole nation saw the sounds. And Chazal say ro'im, the sages say ro'im et ha'nishma. They saw that which is normally heard. Davar ha'nishmahu karagil, davar rachok yoter mi davar ha'nireh. Something that you hear normally is more distant conceptually, not as clear as something that you see. Right? The example that I like to give, right, is if we hear dove outside, right, and then Steve walks in. So we say, "Steve, you sounded just like Dove." We're not going to say, "Dove, you look just like Steve." Right? We heard Dove's voice, now we see Steve, so what do we recognize? That we misheard the voice. And we say, "Wow, you sounded just like so-and-so." We don't say, "So-and-so, you look just like the guy we heard." Right? The re'iyah, that which we see, overrules that which we hear.
Seeing is believing.
Seeing is believing. Eino dama shmiya l're'iyah. So what we're saying is that the clarity that they had with that which they heard was as if they had seen it. That's how clear, irrefutable it was to them. They saw that which they heard. Ve'heim, and they b'nevuatam, through their prophecy, ra'u et hadavar rachok, they saw that distant matter, ba'ofen muchashi, in a tangible manner, v'karov, as it was right here. Ra'u et giloi Hashem al Moshe, they saw that revelation of God to Moshe below mechitza, without there being any barrier, v'chatzitza, separation. Shetimna'am, which would hold them back, me'ri'iyat, from experiencing giloi zeh, this revelation. V'al kain me'idat Torah, therefore the Torah testifies, v'gam bacha, and also you, Moshe, in you, ya'aminu la'olam, they will believe forever. Mi shara'a gilui Hashem bakazu re'iyah chushit, someone who saw this revelation with this tangible vision and experience, emunato hi la'olam. That faith, that understanding, that change is eternal. On H.com, Rabbi Wise is the next source. The people who stood at Mount Sinai perceived the soul world with absolute clarity, while the physical world receded into the remote distance, generally occupied by spiritual matters. A meeting between the congregation of Israel and God taking place at this high level of spirituality clearly exposed the spiritual connection that exists between all Jews, as well as the connection between God and Israel. It is not by accident that when Moshe retells the events of Har Sinai in Sefer Devarim, of Mount Sinai in Devarim, he concludes with the classical statement of the absolute unity of God. The unity between God and Jewish people, and unity with each other, the Shema. Shema Yisroel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. After he recounts that Mamad Har Sinai, then one just is left to cry out and to feel outwardly, inwardly, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. So it was a revelation. It was the revealing, the opening up of their eyes to that which is there. Not that which was there then.
But it wasn't available to us.
We don't see it. But that connection and that spirituality is right there. It's available for us. B'chol yom, every day. Our eyes, our physical eyes, are not able to see it. The Gemara Bracha speaks about the garments, the pants of the students of the yeshiva that gets worn out faster than it should for people who are sitting on chairs and studying. And the Gemara says, because there's a lot of movement all around, we don't see all the different beings that are around, that are gathering around with the Torah learning, the Torah study that goes on, the malachim that are created, the angels, the spirituality that's created with every word. It's a packed room. It is jam-packed. And to the point that it could wear out their garments, the Gemara says, the Talmud says. But we don't see it. We don't perceive that. Yes, Ida.
It's a very powerful word here. Because if it said, see, O Israel, then each of us sees things differently. But perception can only come with revelation. It has nothing to do with the interference of the physical world. It has to do purely with the inner spiritual world. Mm-hmm. So that Shema is a very, very powerful word all by itself.
Yeah.
And Allah, what you said about it being haskil and discernment of what is heard is then manifested as if seen several times surrounding these events, before and then a little after. B'nai Yisrael as one, which, like you're saying, that they say we will see and we will do.
Yeah.
So there's that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rav Dessler, right, all the holidays, he explains, right, a point that we mention very often, that Jewish history does not start at one point and move outward, but we cycle. We cycle through different availabilities, different experiences, different modes, different stages. Each Shavuot, Rav Dessler writes in his epic, we spiritually arrive at the same point of sanctity experienced by our forefathers at Mount Sinai. Right? We're back there. We lock into that same mode. It is, once again, in a real sense, Zman Matan Torah. That's what we say in our davening. It is the Zman, the time of Matan, of the giving of our Torah. And we are invited to accept it anew as we did 3,300 years ago. On Shavuot, we have to work in order to receive the Torah. We have to struggle to acquire it in our hearts. We have to appreciate its truths as unchangeable verities. The nation still harbored lingering doubts until that point. Only when they heard God's voice at Sinai was doubt replaced by absolute certainty. So too, when we learn Torah today, especially at Shavuot time, can we, if we wish, still hear that very same voice? And he continues his Mechtav Me'Eliyahu. We can appreciate the teaching of our sages by Yom Hazeh, Ba'u Midbar Sinai. On this day, by Yom Hazeh, on this day, they came to the desert of Sinai. Lo Yitzrich L'tov Ela B'Yom Hahu. It should have said B'Yom Hahu, on that day. Ma'u B'Yom Hazeh. What does it say on this day? We learn out, sages teach us, Shiu Divrei Torah Chadashim Alecha Ki'ilu Hayom Nitnu. That the words of Torah should be new to you as if they have been given today. Dahainu, meaning, Ki b'kol 8 Sha'adam Lamedet Torah Kara'oi. Whenever a person learns Torah properly, Mikabel Shefa Chadash. He receives this new inspiration, this new revelation, this new influence. Me'et Hashem Yitbarach, from God, mamash, literally, kebe'et, as it was at the time of Netinat HaTorah Bat Sinai, as it was at the time with the giving of the Torah in Har Sinai. Lachein, therefore, Tamid hu bayom hazeh. It's every day. It's on this day. Which day? This day. Tomorrow, which day? This day. The day after, which day? This day. Yesterday, which day? This day. It's tamid. It's constantly. Bayom hazeh. On this day, ka'oto yom shebo lemidbar Sinai. This day, every day, is like the day that we came to Har Sinai, but it's a matter of opening up our eyes, our minds, and our hearts to sense that, and to feel that, and to be influenced by that. Yes.
Still, shouldn't we be mindful, at least grateful that Hashem deigned to give it? And
Yes.
isn't that, I mean, so that happened on just like you commemorate, U.S. independence.
And we do.
So.
But the Torah is not bringing is not. We do.
Right.
And we celebrate Shavuot every year.
Right.
And it's
right.
Matan Torah saying. That's what we say in our davening. So we don't ignore it. But the Torah did not want to emphasize it as a specific day because it's meant to be b'chol yom.
So even if we take that attitude and every day, oh my gosh, wow. But on Shavuot, we could still be grateful that we were given.
Absolutely. And as Rav Dessler said, right, that is we re-enter that zone of the time when the actual revelation took place.
So if we have that sensibility of Hadash and a gift every day, why wouldn't we be able to approach that zone every day?
I would say we can to a certain degree. Yeah. Okay, my friends, we'll call it over here. Yasher Koach.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Those who washed and had their Suda, please join together for a benching.
It's like physical.